Hi, and welcome back to another lesson. I hope you've enjoyed this piece, which was a short improvisation using what's called Quartal chord voicings. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So what characterized this piece is a very open, kind of not very well defined chord character. It kind of sounded like there was a lot of suspense in the chords themselves. And I'm going to talk about where this comes from and how you can create this sort of sound. It's kind of, if you're familiar, it kind of should or maybe remind you of Satie, who is a classical composer, and I suggest you check out his piano pieces. Sorry for the tea slurping. So what are quartal chord voicings? Well, basically these are chord voicings that have some fourth intervals in them. So a fourth is, if you, I'll just remind you, if you take a note and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones up, you get a fourth. You could also count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is also a fourth. Now, what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to walk you through the piece and you'll see exactly what sort of voicings I used. And I actually highly recommend that you maybe pause the video and go back and try to actually copy what I played in the piece itself, if you like the sound. So the piece started with, the piece is in C major, and I added some reverb to the piano. I'm going to take it out now, or lower it at least. And the piece starts with a C major chord, but let's take a look at this C major. So I have this C in the bass, and then I have E, A, D, G, and B. Let's move these around. Let's put the C in the bass, put it up here an octave. Let's take this G down an octave, and this B down an octave. And basically, let's take this A out just for a second. And what you see here is a C major 9. And this A here is either the 6th or the 13th degree, depending on whether you put it here or up an octave. But, so this is a, sort of the 6th and 13th degree actually add a very distinct color, but this is not really the main thing I want to show you about this chord. The really interesting thing is the particular voicing, the way these notes are rearranged on the piano keyboard. So you see that really I'm playing a lot of fourth intervals. These two notes are a fourth apart, these two notes are a fourth apart, these two are a fourth apart, and just these guys up here are not a fourth apart, they're actually a major third apart. There is one more interval that you might have missed, which is the interval between the bass note and this lower E here. Now this is actually more than an octave, but you can think of this, and I personally think of this as, if I take this C up an octave, I get a major third. So this particular voicing is made out of a combination of perfect fourths and major thirds. And the fourths are what give it this very open, modern, kind of unspecific character, while the thirds are what act as a sort of harmonic anchor. They, if I play just these two notes, your brain already instinctively recognizes this as a C major chord. It kind of fills in the details. But if I just play these two notes, maybe, your brain doesn't really fill in any of the other notes. I mean, what is this? What should this be? So this is really the magic of quartal voicings. You have a lot of fourths in the voicing itself, and every now and then, if you don't want to become too abstract or too kind of non-committed to a particular chord, you put in something like a major third or a minor third to give it a more grounded character. So the first chord was the C major, and then let's go through the other chords and see where the quartal voicings come. Now, the second chord is a D minor. Or actually, if you want to be precise, again, let's move the notes around. I'll just do this for this one more chord because I wanted to do one major chord and one minor chord. So let's take, here I'm actually repeating the same note in the bass in the sort of the upper voicing. So I'm going to omit the bass and let's move things around. Let's take this F down an octave, this A down an octave, and this G, let's put it up an octave. So what you get here is that this is a D minor 7, this is the 9th and 11th. So I have it's basically a D minor 11th, just without the 9th. But again, if the really important thing about this is the way in which it's arranged. I have a perfect fourth, perfect fourth, perfect fourth, and here's a major third. Major third is, I remind you, if you don't remember, it's 4 semitones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I had a minor third, it would be 3 semitones. So a minor third gives it a minor character, and a major third gives it a major character, and the fourths don't give it any, they don't commit to major or minor. They're what gives it the tension. Next chord is an E minor. And again, I'm actually using the same voicing I used for the C major, only now my bass note is not a C, it's an E. This is an F major, and it's really the same voicing. If you take a look, this voicing is exactly the same as this voicing, only transposed up. Next chord is a G, and I'm playing a G here, but then I have these extra notes down here, which here you see the fourth, 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 and these notes give it extra, again, they detract from its, I guess, character. It's neither major nor minor. If it's a major, it's not a very strong major. It's not like this. It's really non-committant. Then this is not really an A minor. I kind of wanted it to be an A minor, but ended up going with a slightly different voicing. Looking back, I kind of regret it. I might have played something a little more. I'd actually ditch the fourths in the A minor just because I feel like if you do too many of these fourth chords, you start losing the tonal center of your progression. But again, this is a matter of taste, so I'm going to leave this up to you. Then I play the D minor, and then this is basically a G7 sus4, but it's made, look at this, it's made entirely out of fourths. Fourth, fourth, fourth. But then I actually resolve to a G dominant 7th, just because I don't like torturing my listeners too much. I think too much suspense and too much tension can sometimes detract, but again, this is a matter of taste. So you might have said, okay, actually, I feel comfortable ending the cadence, this progression of chords, on this. That's fine. Then it repeats again. So again, this is an F major chord with this quartal voicing. You see, fourth, 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 and a major third on top. And then it goes to a C, and then to to D minor and a G and a C. And again, they all use quartal voicings, and just pause the video, go back and look at exactly what I played if you like the sound of it, and then just play it yourself. See what I did. That's the best way to learn how to play a piece or how to play piano. So I'm not really going to say anything more than what I've said about these quartal chords. I just thought it would be nice to bring a concrete example of where they're used in practice. I think that always makes learning the abstract theoretical concepts a lot more fulfilling. So now you kind of have an idea of what sort of sound these chords have and kind of how they fit in a piece or a progression. Of course, there are many other instances in which you'd use these quartal voicings, again, to create tension and kind of a modern sound. We'll probably look at some of those in subsequent tutorials. That's it for now. I hope you've learned something interesting, and I will see you next time.